I'm about to catfish everybody because all of you are about to be extremely disappointed when you see me without this makeup on. Oh man, let's see if third time's gonna be the freaking charm. Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for checking out my video today. My name is Taylor and this is my very first YouTube video. And when I tell you that this has been a process to get this video to come to fruition, I'm not joking. This is the third time that I am attempting to film this video. The first time was on my phone. I ran out of storage about almost till I was completely done with the look. And then yesterday, got my camera set up. I was all ready to go. Did my entire look. Didn't do enough research on the camera. And it stopped filming after 30 minutes to prevent overheating. So, word to the wise, do your research on your cameras, make sure you have enough storage, and that's my little TED Talk for today. So, for my very first video, I figured I'd just do like a chit chat, get ready with me. It's a gloomy day here in the neighborhood, so I'm just going to be messing with some new makeup. Some of it is new-ish. Some of it is not new, but it's new to me and my little stash here. But I'm excited with what we have here in front of me, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, then keep on watching. So, like I said, it's been a complete and utter nightmare trying to get this to come to fruition. If the sound is not up to par, I do have a microphone over here that I will set up at some point, probably tomorrow, but I can only handle one complete meltdown a day, and dealing with this has been more than enough for the last, now 3 days. So I typically, when I do my makeup, I start with my eyes. So today I'm going to be going in with, for the third time, the Too Faced. This is their new Appley in Love palette. And I'll insert some swatches here in just a moment. But I always start with my eyes first. And today I'm going to be going in with the AOA Studio. This is their Perfect Eyeshadow Primer. I've been using this for quite a long time, and I just get mine in the shade 040 Original. I really do like this eyeshadow primer. I think it works really well for me. I have really oily lids, and I find that it provides like a pretty tacky base, but at the same time it's also like a really smooth surface to work on. So I'm going to get that rubbed in and we'll get y'all zoomed on in so we can become the best of friends up close and personal. Alright, now that we're a little more up close and personal, get to see all of my biz going on right here. Ignore the fact that we do have some friends accompanying me today. It's skin, it do what it do, and we're just gonna work with it and make the best of it. So with my eyeshadow, I always have to set mine just because I do have very oily skin. My lids are no exception. So I always just go in with a setting powder, and the setting powder that I've been using recently, or lately, for a long time actually, is the Coty Airspun, just their original powder. Now when I set my eyes, I typically only go in the actual crease and above, because I still want some tackiness to the lower portion of my eyeshadow, like on my lids, in order to adhere to shadows a little bit better, and so that if I want to put down glitter glue, which most of the time I do for all of my eyeshadows, just because I don't like having rogue particles getting into my eyes. So we'll be going in with the Too Faced Appley in Love palette. This is their new, what I would assume would be their holiday launch. And I'll insert some swatches here. But this is what the palette looks like. I do really like the color story. I think that they've done a lot better this year with their color story, and I think they finally heard from the crowd that we are tired of pumpkin themed or their continuous theme that they do every year with the exact same color story. So applause to them for doing something a little bit different. As I mentioned, I have already played with this palette. This will now be the third time. I already do have my opinions on it, but I will get to that at the end of this video. So I'm going to do a different eye look than what I had done previously. So I'm going to go in with one of my Wet n Wild eyeshadow brushes, one of their standard blending brushes, and I'm just taking it on my color switch and I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. I almost always go in with not a huge fluffy brush, but a fairly fluffy brush to do like my crease to kind of diffuse the shadows a little bit. So I think to start off with, I'm going to play with some of the shades that I've not touched yet. So to begin, I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. And this is called Slice, Slice, Baby.
You little liar!
So it's still somewhat of a foreign concept talking to myself in a camera. However, I don't feel like it should be that much of a foreign concept because I did just finish my bachelor's degree not too long ago, like a year and some change, and because my program was primarily online, I did have to talk to myself in the camera multiple times throughout my courses. So, but it's still a little weird knowing that I'm going to be publicly posting myself for the world to see. But so far this shadow is blending out nicely. I mean, standard brown kind of transition shade, but it does blend really nicely. Now going back into the palette, I'm going to go into this shade up here and it's called Sweet on You. With that same fluffy brush, I'm going to blend right above this shadow right here just to kind of smooth out the color a little. Now, I'm sure that you all have already noticed that I don't have a lot of room between my lids and my brows. I have low brows, I have hooded eyes, I have small eyes. So that trifecta of wonderful things that I was blessed with does not give me a lot of room to do eyeshadows. So a lot of times stuff doesn't look blended when I'm looking right at you. But if I look up, hello, this actually is blended. It just may not look like it just because of the angle of my brows and what have you, just because they are so low lying and I do have small eyes. So as of right now though, I think it looks nice. It blended well, not having any problems. I do kind of want to play with the reds again. So I think I'm going to go into this shade right down here. And this is called So Snackable. Just going to deepen that up a little bit, going in with the same Wet n Wild brush. I will tell you this palette does have a pretty decent amount of kick up in the pan, but I've not really experienced any fallout on my face from these shadows. The mattes do blend really nicely. When I had initially swatched these, I was kind of concerned because some of them did not, and this is referencing the mattes, some of them did not swatch well at all, and some of them swatched phenomenally. But some of them honestly did not swatch very well at all, so I was kind of concerned. But the mattes, spoiler alert, are going to be the star of this palette. There are some shimmers in here that do really nicely even without glitter primer, but I would say for the most part, how those swatched on my hands really did translate to how they swatched on my eyes. So I'm going to go back in with that same So Snackable shade that I was just using, but now I'm going to take it on a small e.l.f. This is their eye crease brush, just because my eyes are really small and I just want to get up into the nook and cranny here in my crease. Okay, so that's how that shade is laying down. I think it looks nice. I'm going to be moving on to the next shade and I'll work on blending this out in just a minute. So I'm going to go in to the next shade, and it's going to be this shade down here in the bottom corner, and this is called Baskets Full, and it's this really nice like deep brown, like deep chocolate brown. So I'm going to put this into the outer corner. Yeah, that's has really good pigment. I was happy to see that Too Faced did a different color story and did try harder to have some pops of color as opposed to their, 50 shades of brown that they have. I do have a couple of their palettes, and not talking total crap on them. I do like their holiday palettes. My favorite one so far has been the was it the Pumpkin Spice Extra Slice palette that they did a couple of years ago. I don't know what it was. I know it's their same standard color story that they typically do, but there was something about that palette that I just genuinely really liked. Like, I think just seeing the reviews kind of persuaded me to end up buying the palette even though I didn't need it, but I had it, used it quite a bit, and I still do like that palette and I do still dig into it. I find that Too Faced typically has their best palettes during their holiday releases, like their, you know, fall releases. I feel, at least in my experience, that their other releases throughout the year in regard to eyeshadows leave a little bit to be desired, or actually a lot to be desired. I don't review Too Faced eyeshadows very frequently. I do have, or used to have before I did a declutter not too long ago, a fairly decent amount of Too Faced products in my stash, but they were really old, so I just really needed to declutter them. I did keep some of them that are just a little bit past the expiration date, but you know, we don't talk about that. So I'm going to go back into the last shade that I use called So Snackable, and I'm just going to work on blending this brown shade out a little bit. Okay, now I'm cleaning off the first Wet n Wild brush that I used in my color switch. With no additional product, I'm just going to go in and just blend out the very top of this. So this is what we have going on so far. Like I said, their mattes do a really nice job. I didn't have any problem with them, no fallout in the face. There is still a decent amount of kick up in the pan, but that can just as easily be blown away. I wish I could say I was blown away by this palette, spoiler alert, but it is a lot better than some of their previous palettes that they've come out with. So next, because I'm just going to do my eyeshadow the same way that I do with any palette, regardless of whether or not I know how their shimmers perform. I'm going to go in with my glitter primer right here. So I always use the NYX glitter primer. But before we get into that, I have a question for all of you. So here we have my primer. Looks like your typical primer, right? Wrong. If you notice, my tip is completely gone. Has this happened to anybody else? Because this is like the third tube that this has done this to me, and I don't know why. I don't let it get dry. I don't let it get hard. Sorry, I'm immature sometimes.
Grow up!
But I don't let it dry out, and I always put the cap back on in a timely manner. But for some reason, this tube, like the very tip of it, constantly comes off, and I don't understand why. So please let me know if that's happened to anybody else, because I feel like it's only happening to me. Now I'm just going to put this on the inner portion of my eye. This right here is the other reason why I don't powder my lids, just because I do go in with the NYX glitter primer and it tends to look really cakey and just disgusting, and the powder tends to, or the glitter primer tends to kind of ball up on top of it, so I don't want that. So I'm going to slightly overlap that brown shade right there. And now that we have a tacky base, I'm going to go in with this shade right down here, and this is called Slice Slice Baby. So I got the wrong shade earlier. The brown shade is actually called Caramel Apple. I really don't like that Too Faced just had to be different, and they put the names of the shades on the top instead of at the bottom like everybody else. But going into that green shade, it's a really pretty, almost duochrome type of green to yellow shift. And I'm just going to take that and pat it right next to the brown, covering the brown a little bit, and then we'll add it back. This is probably the best shimmer shade in the palette. The other green is a pretty decent green, but it's not really your typical shimmer. It's more of kind of like a satin shade, but it is still a really pretty shade. So now that that shade is laid down, I'm going to go back into the palette and I'm going to go in with this gold shade right here, and this is called Apple of My Eye. And I'm just going to put that right next to that green shade. You can use a brush if you want to. A lot of times I do, but then the other half of the time I just go in with my finger if I'm being exceptionally lazy. Yeah, I really like that shade. I think it looks really nice. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now that that part of my eyeshadow is done, I'm just going to clean up the edges on here just a little bit and we'll be right back. Alright, I've kind of finished off the eyes for right now. I went in with more of that dark brown shade called Baskets Full and added that back to the outer corner since I covered it up a little bit. And then I took a Q-tip with some micellar water and I just cleaned off the under part of my eye and kind of gave it a little bit of a harder edge. I typically do my brows more towards the end, but I guess today for sheets and giggles we can do my brows. But first I'm going to do my mascara and curling me lashes. So I'm just going to quickly curl my lashes and then we will go in with mascara. Now for my mascara, I'm going to go in with the Essence. This is their What the Fake mascara. I absolutely love Essence mascaras. If you have never tried them, you really, really should, because this bad boy was only like $4 or $5 and it's one of the best mascaras I think that I've ever used. Essence does make some really good mascaras, and a little secret between you and me, most of their mascaras are better than any of the high-end mascaras that I have. So that's 2 coats of this mascara on my lashes. I think, again, it does a really great job. I absolutely love this mascara. It is definitely one of my favorites. And I don't find that my lashes tend to dip throughout the day. They usually stay pretty curled and voluminized. So I really like that mascara and I highly, highly recommend it. Way more than a lot of the high-end mascaras that I've tried. So next we'll go ahead and I'll do my brows. I don't like doing my brows. It is my least favorite part of my makeup routine, but alas, it doesn't look very good when you don't do your eyebrows. So I'm going to go in today with the Pink Honey. This is their Honey Glue Texture Hold in Strawberry. It does smell like strawberry. I really, really like this product. If you've never heard of this company, they make phenomenal cream contours, bronzers, concealers. This is one of my favorite products from them. I love their brow products and it still smells incredible. So with this, when you open it, there's going to be a hole right here in the center, and that's where you're going to take your spoolie. You're going to take any type of water, setting spray, what have you. I'm just taking my Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe herbs. Just kidding. Aloe herbs and rose water, and I'm just going to spray it in the center. So then I'm just going to take my very dirty spoolie. I apologize. It's actually still clean. I just have some of Pink Honey's tinted brow product on there. But since I've sprayed it, I'm going to take it and I'm going to get product all over the spoolie. I find it easiest if you kind of scrape up and down. So now that I got product on my brush, what I like to do and what I've seen people also recommend is that you brush in the opposite direction of your brow hair to kind of distribute the product through your brows, and then brush with it. And then you can start shaping your brows the way you want to. I don't really have good eyebrows. Like they're sparse in some areas, but not in others. So my brows are definitely my least favorite part of my makeup routine. So I normally will do like the fluffy brow look just because it does give the illusion that I have more brows than I actually do. But this is with the product and this is without. So then you want to flatten it or set it. So a lot of people take like their fingers. I'm just going to take a set of tweezers and I'm going to flatten it. And this is how you can get some of the best stay out of your brows. So again, this is with and this is without. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eyebrow and I will be right back. Okay, so now that my brows have the wax in them, I'm going to take another Q-tip and I'm going to get some micellar water. I'm going to clean off around here so that I don't have that soapy-ish kind of residue underneath my foundation. Okay, so just because I do have some kind of sparse brows. I'm going to go ahead and grab my NYX Brow Pen, and I believe it's in the color taupe, and I'm going to kind of fill in some like sparse areas that I have. Do you ever just have some parts of your makeup routine that you just absolutely cannot stand? Because for me, it would be brows. That's all I'm willing to do today. I hate doing my eyebrows. So for any of you who have those perfect, wonderful, arched eyebrows with the perfect amount of hair, I envy you. So now that my brows are done, I'll end up doing my inner corner and brow highlight after I completely finish the rest of my face. So I'm going to go in with a primer, and I'm going to be finishing up my e.l.f. This is their Power Grip Primer. As you can see, I am running on empty because I really like this primer. And I found that it works well with 99% of my foundations that I have, whether it's cream, serum, powder foundation. It works well with pretty much all of it. They do say to let this sit for at least 30 seconds, so that's what we're going to do. So now that my primer's had a chance to sit for at least 30 seconds, I'm going to go in with my foundation. Actually, this is going to be a skin tint. This is the Tula Skincare. This is their Radiant Skin Brightening Serum Skin Tint with Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 30 with UVA and UVB protection. That is a mouthful. But this is what the product looks like right here. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Like so. So I'm going to just dot this all over my face. I'm just going to be going in with a Wet n Wild flat top foundation brush. Blend this out. This does have surprisingly good buildable coverage. Like, you can build this up to have some pretty decent coverage. I'm going to avoid around the under eye area just because I don't want it to get too cakey after I put my concealer. But this does give, like I said, some pretty decent coverage. Obviously you can still see like the little breakouts that I do have, but like I said, today that's not really a big deal to me. This is a skin tint. I'm not expecting a miracle. Oh, and I forgot to say that I do have the shade 05. For concealer, this is also one of my least favorite products to use. Not this product in particular, but just concealer in general. Today I'm going to go in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer right here. And I have the shade Light 33C. So I'm going to just take a little bit and put it just right here. Now to blend it out, I'm going to go in with the ColourPop. This is one of their E13 brushes. And I'm just going to blend that out. I have a feeling that some people are going to be kind of creeped out by little Miss Thing back here. The concealer is done. Not looking for anything full coverage today. So next I'm going to go in with probably my cream product. So I have a cream bronzer and a cream blush that I want to try out. So I've only used this once. This is by P. Louise. This is the Cheek of It bronzer, and I have the shade Biscuit Bestie. So with this, when you unscrew it, this is the applicator that you get. I'm not really big on these for hygienic reasons, so I take that off right here, and then that way I'm just left with a little squeezy tube. And I'm just going to pour a little bit onto the back of my hand. So I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to pat this just around the perimeter of my face. And I'm going to go in with this brush right here. This is one of my favorite brushes to use for cream bronzer. Notice it has like the angled applicator on here. This is by Albo. This is their P03 brush, and this is just a brush that I honestly got off of Amazon, but I really like this brush for my cream bronzer products. So now that my bronzer is blend it out. I do really like this bronzer. It does provide like a pretty nice warmth flush of color. So next I'm going to go into a cream blush. I did also use this. I do like it. This is the Cinta London. This is their Cheeky Flush blush, and this is in the shade It's This Time. And this is what it looks like right here. It's like a nice kind of mauve type of color. That's a swatch of it right there. I'm going to go in with a Wet n Wild. This is just one of their angled brushes. This is the brush that I pretty much always use for blush. Bouncing in just a couple times. This blush did have a pretty decent amount of pigment on it. And then I'm just going to go on to basically the tops of my cheekbones. And I do bring it up onto my temples just a little bit. So I do really like this blush. It blends out really nicely. It's not cakey. It doesn't lift any of the product that I have underneath, and it's like a cream to powder finish. And I believe that I got that in, I want to say I got that in my last BoxyCharm. So I didn't get any new cream highlighter, and I'm too lazy to get up and walk across the room and go grab one. So that's going to do it for my cream products for right now. So now I'm going to go into these new setting powders that I just got yesterday from Glamlight. This is their Strawberry Shortcake and Translucent Setting Powders. Spoiler alert again. I do really like these. These are super, super nice. So Strawberry Shortcake I'm going to use underneath my eyes, and then for the translucent I'm going to use it to set in the areas where I get the most oily. So on me, that's going to be down here in my chin, here in my T-zone, and right here across my cheeks. This is what the inside of it looks like. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the translucent, but I'm going to set only the oily areas on my face. I was wearing a black shirt yesterday and it got all over, and I swear it's like the law of attraction. A black shirt to setting powder is literally like a white shirt to barbecue sauce. So in looking up close at myself here, look like that girl from White Chicks. Got any more of that?
Any more of that?
So my skin does look really smooth. It looks like my pores have been softened, not, obviously they're not gone, but underneath my eyes looks smooth. It doesn't look cakey anywhere. And overall, I really do like these setting powders. Moving on, I'm going to move on to my powder bronzer. And today, this is not a first impression, I wish it was, but I'm going to be going in with, this is the ZC Blossom Contour in Warm Gold. This is the bronzer slash contour that I received in my Ice Cream Beauty box, which is another makeup subscription box. And if any of you have never tried it before, please do not be turned off about all the things you may see about Ipsy and BoxyCharm. Ice Cream Beauty box is probably the best, hands down, makeup box subscription that I've ever gotten. When you open this product up, this is what it looks like right here. Beautiful, beautiful imprints. This is supposed to be a contour, but if I swirl my finger, I technically can get away with this as a bronzer. There it is right here. So I'm going to take the bronzer brush that I like to use. This is by Coty Airspun, and this is just a good multi-purpose brush right here. Super soft bristles. I'll tend to use this brush when I want like a softer bronze kind of look. So I'm going to tap it here in the center and just start blending. So now I'm going to go in with blush, and this is not new to the market, it is new to me, and this is the Blend Bunny. This is the Bare Cheeks palette, but I'll insert swatches of this palette. But I really, really do like the color story on this palette. It's super pretty, very kind of natural for all skin tones. And I think for today, I'm gonna go in with the shade. I'm gonna go in with this first shade right here called Making Me Blush. This is kind of like an orangey terracotta type color. And I'm going to take that on an angled e.l.f. blush brush. This is the brush that I use most frequently when I'm doing my blush. Just very lightly tap in. That was one small tap and you can already see all the product on the brush. Her blushes are incredibly pigmented, so please go in lightly because it's extremely easy to overdo it on her blushes. Look at that. That's nice. Give myself some life so I don't look dead from the neck up. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with a highlighter. So for today, I'm going to go in with the Glamlight Chucky I'm Your Friend Till the End highlighter. I went ahead and bought this whole collection right after it first launched because I have complete utter FOMO when it comes to Glamlight and I just have to have everything. So this is what the imprint here looks like. There it is right there. It's like a golden kind of glitter. If you do not like rogue glitter particles, this highlighter is probably not for you. And if you don't like using these types of products for highlighter, use them as eyeshadow. Put on a matte liquid lipstick and dab it in the center of your lips. Like there's multiple different ways that you can use this. Yep, that's pretty. I like that. Like a nice kind of gold color. And for sheets and giggles, let's put a little bit of this on my eyes as well for a little extra. Do the same on the other side. Gives it a little bit extra pop. I really like that. I think it looks really nice. So now I'm going to move on to finishing off my eyes. So I'm going to go back into the palette, and I never actually checked. Has a very faint kind of caramel apple or spiced apple scent to it, but it's not overpowering. So I'm going to come into the palette and I think that I'm going to go into the shade. I think I'm going to come into this shade up here. This is called Core Values. I'm glad that Too Faced did something a little bit different. I like when brands listen to their customers and do stuff differently. So next I'm going to do my inner corner highlight and my brow highlight. So I'm going to come in to this shade right here. This is called Smitten. And this shade did not swatch very well. You do have to either use glitter primer or use your finger. Yeah, I think this is going to be just a kind of a natural kind of topper type of shade because I'm really digging into this palette and it is not doing much. Hello. It's a little something something, but leaves kind of a lot to be desired. Do you absolutely need this palette? No. Did I waste my money? Maybe. I'm glad that it's here in my collection, but at the same time, if you absolutely want this, I think that I would probably just wait until it goes on sale. So now I'm just going to go back into my same mascara and I'm going to do my lower lash line. I'm also going to do liner in my waterline and I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. This is their No Budge Matte Shadow Stick right here. This is what it looks like. And this is in the shade Groovy. I think I was probably a catfish. Not the actual fish, but I think I catfished people in my previous life. So now that my eyes are completely done, I'm going to go in with lips. This is my third time trying these products, but I wanted to do this on camera. So I'm going to be going in with the Glamlight, their Chucky collection that just came out with their lip liner and lip gloss. Their lip liner is kind of like this. It's a pencil, kind of like this mauve-y type of brown shade right here. It is super creamy. I do like the formula. And then this is their gloss right here. It looks a lot more glittery in the tube than it does on your lips. Then I'm also going to go in with the ABH satin lipstick in the shade Soft Brown. This is what it looks like right here. So first I'm going to line my lips. I do tend to slightly overline my lips, but not like overlining my lips. So now that my lips are lined, I'm going to go in with the lipstick, and this is a really good formula. It's not drying, it's pretty creamy. So now that I have both of those on, now I'm going to go in with the gloss. Glamlight has really good glosses if you've never tried them before. This one, it doesn't feel sticky, it doesn't feel tacky. She's sticky, she's tacky, she's a little bit wacky. But I'm really happy with how the lips look. So now I'm just going to set my face. I'm gonna go in with the same Mario Badescu facial spray. I know it's technically not a setting spray. I'm just trying to use it up. And again, I ain't going nowhere today. Just here to impress myself. So I'm gonna zoom you guys out. I'm gonna go in with my spray. And this is the final look. So overall, I'm pretty happy with pretty much all of the products. I think pretty much all of them performed really well. I know that I like my primer, obviously, since it's almost completely gone. Then moving on to the skin tint right here. I do really like this. It has light coverage, it's not light, it doesn't look cakey. And then the concealer, I've been using this concealer for a long time. I do like it. It's light. It still creases on me, but it does provide like a nice moisture underneath your eyes if you don't set it, if you don't have to set it. I unfortunately do. Then the setting powders, I absolutely love these, and you get quite a bit of product for how little you pay. These are only $15 a piece, and I really, really like them. I really like this bronzer. I do like it for like more natural type of days, but I do really like it. It blends out really easily. It doesn't disturb any of the products underneath. And what I also like is it's very beginner friendly, that if you're not used to blending really quickly, you do have some little bit of wiggle room so that you don't have to blend as quickly. This blush is really nice. I really like this kind of mauve-y color. I personally really like. Blends really nicely. A little bit of this does go a long way though. I would be interested in trying out more makeup products from this brand after trying that. And then moving on to the blush palette. I really, really like this palette, and I think some of that is still partially like consumer bias. I love Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Her products are absolutely phenomenal, and I will continue to buy and support this brand. And then in terms of bronzer, I do have a few products from ZC Cosmetics already. I have one of their, I think a couple of their highlighters, a couple lip products. This is beautiful. I really like the color of this. I think it goes well with my super pale skin. I love the embellishments in here. I think they're absolutely beautiful, to the point I don't want to touch it, but alas, we do it for the tube, right? Love the packaging on this. It's absolutely stunning. Then the highlighter. I love this type of highlighter. Again, this may not be for everybody. I personally really like it. I don't mind glitter highlighters. I think it's fun, it's different, and they make really, really good eyeshadows if using this as a highlighter is not for you. Like even for me, it added just a little bit of that extra to my eyeshadow, and I really like this. Brows, again, if you've never tried Pink Honey Cosmetics before, you should. Her products are absolutely incredible. Lip products, I love Glamlite's lip liners. I do kind of wish that they, out of sheer laziness, wish that they were like the twist ones, but they're the sharpenable ones. They sharpen really easily. I've never had them break. Really creamy formula. Love the gloss. It's comfortable, not sticky. The ABH lipstick right here, I really like this color. I like these kind of nudie brown kind of colors. So really like that. And yeah, this is my end of my very first YouTube video. And how did I do catfishing, everybody? Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. I hope you guys will consider liking this video, subscribing, and please leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.